What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Lost Boy Skates podcast. I'm your host, Lost Boy Skates, and today we have a special guest. We got my buddy Jonesy, Chris Jones, one of the original. So, Jonesy, let's jump right into it. What got you into skateboarding?
Yeah, let's do that. First of all, thanks a lot for having me. I think what you're doing is really awesome for our community. So, and I know your heart's really into it. So I just wanted to give you a shout out and some love, man, because I think it's really neat.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Jonesy, a lot. You're one of those guys that are always like on Instagram, like commenting, liking something, like giving me good feedback. Like, and I always appreciate that. Like, even like constructive criticism, like how to make it better. Like, I always love that type of stuff. It just helps this grow and it helps build our community more.
Thanks, man. And like too, because I think like the whole editing thing is so fun. And I take like little tricks and tips from like different the good work.
Yeah. So how old were you when you started skating?
So 11 or
You froze up on me.
85 or 86.
Okay.
And I scored some flex and whatever it was, like I pretty much fell in love with it instantly.
Okay. So it was like 85, 86, like you said.
A lot of things about it. Yeah, I would say 85, 86. I actually like picked up a board and like really kind of got into it.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me about your current setup. What does that look like?
I pretty much like shape boards. I have a Tom Knox reissue. It's a Santa Cruz. I actually have one. It's kind of on its way out right now. I get pretty bad razor tail, and I beat my boards pretty good. But yeah, it's a Tom Knox. It's about 10-inch wide. I have to rock some 215s because I'm a big dude. I'm about 250, 255 on a good day. And I'm almost 6'4", so I'm definitely a larger dude. So I need that kind of buoyancy. Same thing with surfing. I ride kind of a 8-foot and up board, so I like that kind of wider, bigger board. I have the 215s. I got some like medium hard bushings on there. I got town 58 mils. I was skating 169s, and I wasn't locking into grinds and stuff like that, and I just didn't get that stability that like a bigger guy like me needed. And honestly, I don't have great aim, so like with that extra truck width, I kind of get on stuff and kind of lock on, and if I'm not really on, I can kind of like wiggle it on.
Right.
No, I don't have any rails right now. I was skating some rails when I kind of really got back into skating a couple years ago. And rails are good and bad. That's like a whole other podcast just talking about rails. But let me see. What else? I got some Bones Reds on there. That's about it. And just have like fun grip tape jobs because like every board to me is like a little piece of art. So I just like do my grip tape like different every time, so it says something to me.
Yeah. Well, you do a lot of like the boneless, the beam plants, no complies and stuff like that. So that skids the tail a little bit. So that's probably why you get that razor tail real sharp on there.
Yeah. And I got big ass feet. So like if I do some kind of trick where I'm like dragging my tail or some kind of tail scrape, I think I'm heel heavy. So that's where my tail always wears uneven.
Yep.
And it's like
I know that feeling.
It's been like that literally since I started skating. It's insane.
I know that feeling from doing 5.0s, like because I drag the shit out of my tail every time I 5.0. It's like a safety thing for me, but like it ends up causing my tail to get super razory at the end. So I go through boards. I think
you had a nice 5.0 at Front Street that you put a clip up on. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah. That ledge actually kicked me off. If you watch, I don't pop off. It kicks me off because rounded edges, for whatever reason, when I 5.0, it kicks me off. So But
That was Front Street. I still got to
mhm.
get there, man. That's one of the places on my list. There in Pops. I still
Okay.
haven't gotten to Pops.
Pops is fun. I really like their bank to ledges. That's just one of my favorite things. I did like a fakie back tail on it, which basically you just ride up fakie and then pop on with your tail and you get a little slide. And I was like, yeah, like, and I had been trying to get that slide all day. I think it took me like 3 hours to get it. But once I got one, I slid like maybe 3 inches, and I was like, yes, that's it. Clip. It's going in the video.
Dude, that's awesome, man. And like, I love banks, and I love banks, the ledges, and just like that right there could be like a couple hours of fun for me. Easy. I love that shit.
Yeah, Templeton and Cardiel. Those were two of my favorites. They would do a lot of bank to rail, bank to ledge type stuff. Just so sick with what they would do. I mean, both of those guys. Like, I could do an entire video on both of those guys just talking about all their skate stuff.
Cardiel was a madman.
Yeah. So who are some of your favorite skaters?
To be honest, like a lot of you guys, man, like no front and no bullshit. Like I like skating with my friends, man. Like all the homies, all the guys in the crew, the old man crew, the OG crew, like the guys on Instagram, like anybody I see at parks, man. Like anybody that just loves skating. But like, if we're talking about like pros, like guys that I grew up with or whatever, or somebody that inspires me, it's pretty much going to be all street skaters because, like, you know, I'm 49, so I grew up in the era of launch ramps and launching over like kids' bikes and barbecue grills and shit like that. Like whatever we could find. Cars, I don't know if I ever did a car, but I definitely did bikes and people. But definitely Nodis. Just because of his smoothness, his style, his grace, and just, man, like when I was like 12 or 13, like watching the stuff he did on a skateboard, when you got that VHS tape in your hand or whatever, it was just like unbelievable. In terms of like one of the greatest to me style skaters, street skaters ever, it's tough because I love Eric Dressen, but I also love Tommy G. And Tommy G was so smooth, man. Like his style, just like every little thing he did, every movement he made was like calculated, and he was like ballet on a skateboard. And Gons. I mean, I can't leave Gons out because Gons was like that crazy orchestra conductor that just did shit that was like in his brain somehow, and then he did it on a skateboard, and you see it, and you're just like, those guys were so inspirational to me, and like everybody that I grew up skating with. So I would kind of have to narrow it down to those guys, but that's just street. I mean, there's all other genres.
Dude, I've had the pleasure of being able to like collect a lot of the old 86 to 89 contests. And like just like you were talking about, Nodis was in it, Gons was in it, Tommy Guerrero was in it, and who else? Steve Cab. Like Caballero, like watching him go from skating vert and then skating street. Like I just watched, what was the one that I just watched? Sacto. So it was they did a street contest and a vert contest in '86, and Steve Caballero won both the street and the vert, which was crazy to see, like him do both, and like he just shreds. But watching these guys do, like, that was the early days of kickflips. Like I think you see one kickflip get thrown every so often, and typically it was Tommy. Yeah,
that was a big deal, man. Like flip tricks in the mid to late '80s. Like it wasn't the '90s yet, right? Dennis? So like stuff didn't become techy until like '90s. And we were rocking these little wheels, like just barely bigger than the bearings, but still somehow skated them at Hercules on those bricks. I don't know how we did that, but yeah, man, if you could kickflip in the like mid to late '80s or do any kind of like impossible or anything that was just kind of, you know, out of the realm of what was kind of so-called normal in skating, if there is even a word for normal in skating, but just, you were the fucking man. Like if you could do that, man. And I was never a flip guy. I was a big ollie guy. Like back in those days, like I wasn't the weight I am now. And like, dude, it was before knee surgeries and stuff. And like that was my thing, man. Like big ollies, man. I love doing big ollies over stuff. Yeah, that was my thing.
What? So it sounds like ollies are one of your favorite tricks. What are some of your other favorite tricks?
Then or now?
All the above. Just anything like that you feel like that
Okay.
was something you love doing.
Yeah, it's funny because I was like, I'm better at some aspects of skating now, as I'm a 49, almost a half a century old
Mm-hmm.
guy. But there's obviously some stuff that I don't really. It's not that I can't do it; it's that I probably shouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's what got me, to
Yeah.
the ER, and I still can't make a fist, and it's like 2 months later. But I mean, like, I decided that day I wanted to do some stairs. I'm 49. Okay, I'm going to do some stairs. Why not? It felt like a good idea. I got the clip. I did land it, but I had fear about it, and I didn't like the fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I got this thing in my head that if I have fear and I need to work on that, I try to go do it again. And then that's when stuff went sideways and I got hurt. But, like, I love the classic tricks like power slides, just like a nice cruise down a hill, laying out some steezy power slides or some 360 power slides, wall rides, any kind of no comply tricks. A nice, like, just steezy ollie, like over something big that just and the guys or whoever's doing it knees are up in their chin and they got that and it's just like it's so cool to see that stuff. Was it TJ always says it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And and skating, that's so true. Even though he bashed my ass about having big wheels on your podcast, I did bring that up to him. But that's my dog right there. But yeah, man, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. But like in terms of like some of new school type stuff, like John, man, the stuff he comes up with his flip stuff at Wilmington, I'm just like, I just look at that like it's like Tony Hawk Pro Skater game for me. Like that's the only place I can land those tricks. But just cruising, man, and just like having fun on a board, like whatever comes to my mind. Sometimes I think about tricks, and I keep an actual trick book. I know that sounds funny because that could mean a couple things, right? A trick book, and this trick book is actual skateboard tricks, and it's like I come up with them and write them down, and then when I feel like I'm going to try it, I go do them.
I have a list of tricks that I want to do, so I know like you follow everything like that I've done. That's actually how we met, was Instagram first. Like we started following each other, and then we really didn't meet until the contest this year, Winter Wagon. And like that, it was just gnarly to be able to skate with you and like get to know you, because I would always hear TJ talk about you, or even like Lumps would talk about you occasionally, and we were like, it's like, dude, like who is this guy? There's another old guy out there doing similar stuff to Mark, and I'm like, and then we finally meet, and then not long after that we get to do like an amazing street session, me, you, and TJ, like almost all day long. And I think, and I hadn't skated street in a long time, but because of that, I was like, you know what, I want to do a street part this year. Like I want to do like part park and part street, and I've been skating again for like 10 years now. So like I kind of decided like this is going to be my last like full edit that I'm going to do. Just because like, I don't want to keep making the same skate parts over and over and over again. Like I see certain guys do the same tricks over and over again, and it just, sometimes it's great. Like, right. It's awesome to see some of those tricks, but then sometimes it's like, okay, he just, 50'd the ledge, and it's the same ledge that I 50'd like in 7 different videos, you know what I mean? But yeah, like that day was so great. And like, after that, like we've just kind of kept this close connection, which was cool. And, to hear about like some of the things that you've talked about with your skating, and watching you get pumped up over some of the stuff that we do. Tell me what really pumps you up for skateboarding. Like, is it like certain people, certain tricks, or just the atmosphere period?
It depends, man. It's so much. I guess the biggest thing would just be like that pumps me up is like somebody that's just out there and I'm skating with them and they like just purely love skating. It doesn't matter how rad they are at skating, how gnarly like gnarly shit they may or may not do. Like it's just that they love skating. but also to like some skaters that are supportive and like cheering other people on. And somebody does something really sick, and somebody's like cheering or just like going ham or whatever, just like getting stoked, getting amped, getting pumped. Like I love that stuff, man, because like I played sports my whole life, man, and I'm a father. I'm also a teacher, so I believe in like supporting people.
Right.
So I don't get it like if it's people that aren't supporting other people like in skating. So I'm real try to be real positive and put people's stuff out there and be like, yo, look at this, because there are some rad skaters in our area, man. Like they are getting down. They are throwing some tricks down. They are having fun, and like they deserve to get out there and get known.
Yeah, dude. So the day we went street skating, you were talking about power slides. I had never power slid since I started skateboarding. Like way back when in the day, I never did a power slide. I could never figure them out. And literally, you told me like one thing, and now
I don't remember
like
what it was.
Yeah, it was literally you were like, all you do is you just turn your hip with your foot and you just put pressure on that back truck. And I was like, okay, cool. So I just literally did it. And then all of a sudden now like I'm power sliding and I'm just like, why did I not figure this out before? But it's like super fun to do because like now I'm wondering like if that will help me like learn tail slides again, because simply a tail slide is literally kind of doing a power slide into it if you want. I've seen people do like the power slide into the nose slide. So I'm like, now it's opening up more doors, right? For more creativity, more tricks. But yeah, so one of the things that you and I had talked about was skateboarding and aging. Like you're 49, I'm 36. I definitely know that I don't take falls like I used to. Some days like I can get up like a teenager, and sometimes I'm like, fuck, this sucks after one fall, and I'm like, I think I need to be done for the day. Like,
I mean, I totally get it, and like I'm gonna answer that question, but I also want to tell whoever ends up watching this, like that day we did that street session, dude, that was so fun, and like I love taking you to those spots that I'm assuming you had never been to, some of them, and like you tried that heel flip, but I think I called it a kick flip. But you did that heel flip and you tried that thing, and me and TJ watched the street for you for literally, it had to be 10 minutes, right? But you stuck with it, man. Like you stuck with it and you got it, and that's like skating right there, man. Because you were getting pissed off, and like I'm like, I try to be quiet when people are trying to do tricks for the most time, unless like I feel like they need that little nudge, like, yo, you can do this shit, man. Like you are so close. And I think I said that to you maybe twice, but dude, I was so happy when you landed that, because that little still I grabbed, you were way up high, like look like a ninja.
I don't even know how I was able to bring that back under my feet, because if you watch the video, you can see the board starting to like get away from me, and somehow I magically pulled it back. And then like I'm not good at hill bombs either. I freak out with speed. Like it causes like a mini panic attack. So like when I got to the bottom of it and was like, all right, I'm getting ready to go in the street. Fuck this. I'm just going to jump off the board. Like, I think that's the biggest hill I've hill bombed in quite a while. But that's one of my favorite things to do.
Trick, man. It was a sick trick. I've been there a million times, and I never thought to like do a trick into a hill bomb there.
Well,
so that was sick.
I saw it and I was looking at it and I was like, I wonder if I could heal into that. Like, it's pretty mellow. Like, it's actually pretty mellow to get to like pop into it. But once you get going, like you pick up speed on that thing real quick. And then like you got to watch out. There was like a sewer grate on the one side. And then like, of course, it's a main street right over pretty close to the courthouse and everything. And I was like, oh my God, like if I get hit by a car, this is going to suck. First day street skating in a long time, gets hit by a car. That's a bad omen, right?
That's street cred.
So, and I haven't street skated since I started skating again at all. And now, like I said, I want to do a whole street part. And that I went over and did a 5-0 at that marble edge, which I was actually trying to 50 it, and I couldn't do the 50. I kept like stalling out before I got to the end. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do a 5-0. And
that thing was gnarly, man. That place that, okay, yeah, I know where you're talking
about. That was like third try. Because like the first try was like it shot out, and I was like, oh god, it slid more than I thought it was going to. And then the second try, I got into it, and I popped off, but my foot came off, and I was like, fuck. And then finally, I hit it the third time, and then a cop car drove by, and so I was like, all right, I'm done here. I'm gonna go find another spot. But yeah, that spot I did that spot because of the one spot that you had showed me, like where you had tore up your hands and stuff, because it was right there near there. So
I thought that was the same spot. You must have been up the hill, like
yep.
at the memorial. Okay, yeah.
Because that's that.
All right. I thought you were at the same spot that I like had the ER visit. That's what
it's close. It's actually real close to there.
I know where you're talking about. It's up the hill.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so. But I can't wait to like finish these parts though this year. Like
street stuff is so fun, man. That's why I love the parks. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't grow up with that. So like, I grew up skating street in the streets of Wilmington. Like I skated in the streets of Wilmington since the late '80s. That's like all we did. Like we went down Market Street, like at lunchtime in the summer just to piss off the lawyers. We would, like, real fast behind them and like in their suits, and they're like, "Look at these fucking skaters," It was great.
We would go in Skate Street in Newark because like it was just closer for us, and like of course like we were younger, so we were like, oh, Wilmington, it's scary, we're gonna get shot, whatever, or robbed. And like in all the times that I've been in Wilmington, the worst thing that's ever happened is somebody offered me drugs. So like it really wasn't that bad skating through Wilmington. But
I mean, people generally think skaters are crazy anyway. So like people don't really fuck with skaters too much because they know like most skaters are a little crazy. Like they're not afraid to like take an ass whooping. They're usually like bloody and have scabs on them, and their clothes are ripped. I mean, like people are scared of skaters for the most part.
Yeah. So tell me about like your aging in skateboarding. Like
yeah. So like I'm 49, so like I'm almost a half century old. And like when I say that in my head, I'm like, that's really old, man. But like 3 years ago, I was 285 pounds. I was really unhappy. I was really depressed. I had like some really bad anxiety, and like I was at a job that I didn't believe in what I was doing there. It was a teaching job, but I didn't believe in what I was doing anymore, so I changed my job. And my whole kind of goal of why I teach a whole different population now, which I love. But skating became like a big focus of my life again. It helped me to lose weight, kind of get recentered, de-stress, lose some anxiety, be happier, get in a better place, be creative, be free, and like meet people like yourself and like other people in our community that they believe the same things we believe with skating, which is like if you skate, it's like anything is possible. So like for me, honestly, like skating can help to save my life. My wife, she's very supportive too and helped me get out of like a really dark place. Like I went to very dark places that I never want to return to, and skating has helped me like stay out of that. And it's hard, man, because like I used to do really crazy shit, but like I have kids now and I have a job, and I mean I missed 3 weeks of work because of this injury, dude, and I don't regret it. I would do it again. And I landed it. So, like, it just didn't go well the other time. But, like, it's hard, man, because, like, when you have more responsibilities, like, if you're a father, you got a job, you got to think about it. And, like, I've had knee surgeries. Like, I've beat my body from basketball and tennis and soccer because that's what I played my whole life. So, like, my body's beat, man. And, like, there's times where I want to skate in my head, but physically, I can't, man. Like, I just fucking can't. Like, I mean, I can, but I shouldn't. So, like, I've really tried to, and I know, like, me and Lumps, it's funny because me and Lumps, like, we're, like, so close in age, and we have a lot of similarities in the way that we think, and I know that we think the same about skating because he mountain bikes and breaks stuff up, and I do the same thing. But, like, we know that we're older, man, and it's like there's no hiding that fact, but we still love it, and we can still get down, and we keep ibuprofen around. We might keep some other things around. But, like, we keep some things around and we get through, and we love skating, man. And it's like, I don't know if it's possible to say, like, I love skating more now than, like, when I started. But in a way, it's weird because I do, man. Like I love to go get on my board on like a sunny day, and I'm in a place like a street spot maybe that I scouted out, and I'm skating it for the first time, and I know this trick in my head that I want to do, and I'll bust my ass till I get it. You know what I mean? But that's what we do, and it's like it's just fun. It's still fun, Dennis. So like as long as it's fun, even though it comes with pain, and I might not be able to do it as much as I want to, and I do have to take more days off in between, the payoff is still worth it to me.
Yeah, like for me, I have to like if I skate real heavy, like I have one. So we were talking about aging and skateboarding and like having to like heal up. You kind of like got kicked for a second and then we had to bring it back in. But what I was saying was like with me, like when we skated the day of street, I had to take like 4 days off of skating after that so I could heal up because I mean, like yeah, I mean I got busted up a little bit at later spots, but it was just I was out all day long skating and that was the first time in a long time that I actually took time to skate with the guys. Because normally I go out and I'll just skate out front of my house or like I'll go to the park and kind of just stick to myself and skate and still need to take a day or two off after that, like just because to heal up. But it's different than when I was a kid where I could just skate all day, every day and never have to like do anything special to heal up. Like if I fell 1,000,001 times, I didn't need ibuprofen, but now ibuprofen has become one of my best friends. That and like, you know, got to make sure I take like nice hot showers to like loosen up the muscles and relax, the Epsom salt baths, like everything. Even sometimes icing down like my one knee because like you said, you've had knee surgeries. I've had a knee surgery and it's like, it's so much different now with the recuperation after a long day of skating.
Yeah, it does it to me. Like yesterday, we ran a 5K in Wilmington along the river down by the zoo, and
he got kicked again. It kicked you again for a second.
We're back.
Yeah, but
is it my end kicking me?
I'm not sure. I mean,
it's my end kicking me off.
It could be. But anyways, like you were saying, you ran a 5K, and then
yeah, I'll say if it happens again, Dennis, I'll probably just go in the house.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's I was saying it wasn't just skating that does that. It's also like I just did a 5K yesterday. It was me, my wife. So it was Kate, and it was like, you know, my 3 kids, like their significant others, everything. And I don't run. And my only goal was do this thing, run, and don't stop. I didn't care about my time. I didn't care about any of that stuff. I just wanted to run and not stop. And I did it. And I was happy with that, man. And I don't know, it was like 33 minutes or something like that. So it was an okay time, but like I wasn't really worried about that. But today, like my quads were burning. Like I took ibuprofen last night. I took it again today. I definitely was not skating today. There was no way. Felt like the Tin Man. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna take a day off.
I have like a morning workout routine now to try and strengthen my knee because like one of the problems when you tear your ACL or anything in your knee, the muscles like your quads and your hamstrings, they get very weak because you become reliant on the brace that you end up wearing for quite a while with it. So I'm still in the process of strengthening that up because that's one of the reasons why I don't have as many switch tricks as I used to. Because I'm an ambidextrous person. Like I've always been able to skate both ways. So like now that I'm doing that, I'm getting stronger and I'm able to do certain things that I wasn't doing before. When I first started skating again after the injury, I couldn't do anything switch. And now I have quite a few switch tricks. I don't have my switch kickflips anymore still, but they're coming. Like I'm getting closer to them than I was before I started like working out every day and doing these like little leg exercises and stuff to try and get my leg to function the way it's supposed to. Because, you know, I like to compete too. I like to go hard.
I know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like skate wagon. That was a blast, man. That was so fun.
Skate wagon. I think I tore myself up that day. Like I don't think I've ever fallen that much.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody did because everybody was out there like
Mm-hmm.
shredding, having a good
Mm-hmm.
time. That was just, and honestly, man, like that day in particular, like having like all you guys there and then like meeting a bunch of new people and just like the music, the
Mm-hmm.
energy, the bands, like everybody really just getting into it. And like it was so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I could describe it, it literally took me back to like the 80s, man. When people like, see, back in the day, they would load up U-Hauls and take them to basketball courts and it would just be wooden ramps.
Mm-hmm.
You would just skate. There was no skate park. So like they always bring the park to you. And that day kind of, and everybody just being like, everybody just had a blast,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a really nice vibe all just the whole day. It was so fun.
Yeah, I mean, Skatewagon always puts on a really good event. That's the third year that I've been to it. Yeah, I think that's the third year I've been to it. And like last year, I had just came back after having knee surgery. The year before that, like, was my first time actually being there and uh, not really being into the contest stuff again. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do like one of my first contests. And like ever since then, it's like a staple. Like every year, I look forward to Winter Wagon.
Oh yeah.
And then he has another event that he typically does sometime during the summer, which I'm excited for too, because I think that's going to be a lot of fun. That one's typically outside, up at the Quarryville Skate Park. So I'm hyped for that. I want to this year I'm definitely going to go to that. I didn't have a chance to go last year. We kind of went on a family vacation, so which was cool too. But like I really wanted to skate there with all the guys because everybody
cool
was blowing me up.
Too.
Yeah,
I got you.
but yeah, I mean, it's you also brought up diversity in skateboarding, and I kind of wanted to hear what specifically you were thinking about as far as diversity.
Yeah. So basically, just skating is one of the things that I love about skating, and that when I first started skating was normal to me was a diverse skate crew. Like in Wilmington, it was me, it was Boomer, it was Steven Mercado, who was Puerto Rican, Boomer was black, I'm white. We had Dwayne, Eric,
Mm-hmm.
both black. It was the only white guy in like an all black and Puerto Rican crew, and we just used to skate Wilmington all the time. And that was so cool to me, man, for so many reasons. And like all
Mm-hmm.
the schools I went to were very diverse as well. But skating has always been one of those things that like accepts everybody. It doesn't matter like your religion, your orientation, your color, your whatever the fuck, man. Skating has always been a place like a safe haven
Mm-hmm.
for everybody. And like I never want that to go away because for me, like in its essence, like skating is that thing that like doesn't have a definition because everybody's definition is different.
Mm-hmm.
Like what skating does for them, like that's different for everybody. It might be like similar, but the diversity thing, man, people like Chuck Treese, who's a local OG legend,
Mm-hmm.
you know, uh, dude, you have Tommy G, you know what I mean? Chuck Treese is a super nice guy, man. He would like agreed to be in the last edit and sent me clips. And he's the first black skater on Thrasher magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was 1985, doing some sick ass layback, which
Mm-hmm.
that thing is incredible, man. If you haven't seen his layback, it's pretty steezy. Um, but yeah, like Stevie Williams, man, like and females in the
Mm-hmm.
game. I mean, kids in the game. I mean, even kids locally that are really good skaters. But just like different ages, different diversities.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me that's what skating's about, man. It's supposed to accept everybody, and that's why it's so important to me.
I think when I was growing up, when I was younger, we kind of were like we didn't accept as much diversity. But then again, like most of the skaters that I knew were all like white guys, right? Um, but as I've gotten older, especially like around the Wilmington area, you get just such a diverse crowd of people at the skate park, and and it doesn't matter whether they scooter, bike, whatever. Like, there's never any
Right?
drama. Like everybody's
Roller
like,
skate,
uh huh,
yeah,
and
everybody, dude.
like it doesn't matter. Like I'll cheer for somebody that's doing something sick on a scooter, but like when we get that atmosphere going, it just makes it such a positive place. And I really think if other people outside of the skateboard community or outside of like the extreme sports community would see that, then they would better understand like why these sports are so important. Like they teach so much different things. They teach acceptance, they teach resilience. You know, like you fall down, you get it back up, and you try the trick a million and one times. You know, the last try is never the last try.
Right. Yeah.
So, but
yeah,
look,
like
but yeah, with this, like you were saying, with diversity, like, you know, we've got John out there who's just shredding, and then you've got Novi, you got some of our older guys, you and Lumps, you know, Chuck came out to the park and I was fucking fangirling over him. And you know, the cool thing about him was he just accepted it. Like he was just like very accepting of like, and we had a really good conversation about like some of the history in Delaware with skateboarding. And you know, to be that easily accessible, right, was just
yeah,
so gnarly. Like he was just so cool about it. Um,
yeah.
you know, and
And I, like just to follow up on
mhm,
that, like definitely, man. Like I've never met him unless we met like back in the day
mhm,
somehow. But he's a little bit older than me, so we probably didn't. I think he's probably like. Well, I'm not gonna call him out, but I'll just say he's a little older than me. But I don't think we crossed paths in Wilmington back in the day. Plus, dude, we were down here, little street rats, dude. He was already like
mhm,
doing his thing. I mean, he was a legend already, you know.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, he's super approachable. And like, another one. There's so many with technology now, man. We didn't have the internet back in the
mhm,
day to connect with these like skaters. But there's so many like even professional skaters, man, that I have personally like messaged with or even talked to on the phone in the last like year or two. It would blow your mind, man. Like the people are so accessible and
mhm.
oftentimes really cool, and they want to talk to you, man. And like they want you to give them big ups and salutes, OG salutes,
Mhm.
because these guys that paved the way and kept the sport going and kept it creative and kept it flowing and kept it steezy. Like these guys, we got to pay them respect, man. We got, and like I know a lot of people do, but it's like really important because they like to hear it, man. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people like they could be real humble, but they still want to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, skateboarding in the 80s, you know, had that major dip towards the end of the 80s. And then in the 90s, it picked up again. But then towards the beginning of the 2000s, started to dip off again. And it's always had this like up and down roller coaster effect. But
Yeah.
there's always been people there pushing it. You know, in the 80s here in Delaware, you had Chuck Treese, you had Peanut Brown. You know, you had
Right.
those guys really pushing it. And again, we were talking about diversity. Both of those guys were the first and second professional skateboarders from Delaware. You know, both of them are African American. Both of them went on to have good careers in skateboarding and then continued careers elsewhere. Chuck did music. Peanut Brown did motorcycle racing. He's still a professional motorcycle racer now. Um,
Guys are nuts, man.
yeah, and
I'm
I'm
scared to get on a motorcycle.
I mean, Chuck still shreds. I haven't seen anything from
Yeah.
Peanut Brown, but I would imagine that you don't lose that, you know, that ability to shred. Um, but like,
No.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, it might just be a little bit of practice, a
mm-hmm,
week or two getting back on the board for guys that were at that echelon, and they're freakish athletes, man.
mm-hmm,
Those guys, like pro skaters, like they're with the diet, the nutrition,
mm-hmm,
like just everything, man. They follow a regimen just like a football player or a basketball player. A lot these guys are serious, man. They
mm-hmm,
are like Division I athletes in college. These guys are mutants, man.
mm-hmm.
They're freakish aliens. Like the stuff their body can do, like were you at the Adidas thing at Wilmington at the demo
No, but I got to
with
see like some of
Day
the.
One
No, I
Adidas?
got to see some of the videos that people posted.
I mean, these guys, man, like they make things look so easy.
Mm-hmm,
Like these pros make things look so easy,
mm-hmm.
and they're doing it on like the first or second try.
I mean, I remember the demo for
And
Toy Machine.
that's no diss to anybody,
Mm-hmm,
dude, like that we know that make because we all have 20, 30 tries to do a trick. That's no diss. I'm just saying, like these guys are so good, man. And like I don't know if like everybody realizes, skaters realize it, but like people, like normal people, they don't know like what freakish athletes like pro skaters are.
The thing I also liked
They're
about
insane.
the thing I also like about skateboarding is it doesn't matter if you're like this little skinny kid or this overweight older guy, right? Like I'm grossly overweight. I weigh about 210 and I'm only 5 foot, barely 5. But like there's some things I never thought I would be able to do on a skateboard that I'm doing. You know, some of the tricks, you know, even switch tricks.
Dude, you rip, man. You fucking rip, man.
And like, you know, I watch, you know, like you're a bigger, taller dude and you still shred. You know, Mark is relatively like he's taller than me. He's probably like more average height, but he still shreds too. And I mean, he's doing the old school, some of the new school.
Lumps the OG.
Yep. And like so it's wild to see that differentiation. There was a guy bigger than me, about the same height, skating in the contest at Skatewagon, and he was throwing down some sick tricks too, like, you know, big spins and all that. And I mean, you would think that the weight would throw us off, but you know, we kind of adjust to it a little bit. And that's the thing I like about skateboarding too, is like you don't just have diversity amongst like age, but also like weight, body shape, you know, like you said, women, men,
right,
black, white, Spanish, like doesn't matter. And nobody gives a shit. Nobody is there judging anybody based off of that. You know, we might judge each other off of our skateboarding and give each other some shit about some of the tricks or whatever, or being sloppy, but like, you know, it's all in good fun most of the time. And you know, even if I'm learning a new trick and I land it real sloppy, like everybody goes off, right? Or if I'm doing the same trick I've done probably 1,001 times, I got TJ running across the skate park. Hell yeah! Lost Boy skates! Fuck yeah! Like, the day that I met you at Winter Wagon, only reason why I even knew you were there was because you got fucking TJ running, like, saw you. He's like, motherfucking Chris Jones up in the house. I was like, I was done. He had me dying. Well, but yeah, dude.
Yeah, and he is one of the main reasons that I decided to enter that contest, because I wasn't even going to do it.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna. And then he was like, Jones, you better fucking enter that contest. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, oh, how many people are in it? Started asking some questions. Like, am I the oldest motherfucker in this dude? He's like, I'm glad I did it. It was so fun.
Yeah, but you still placed too, though.
Yeah, I did. In that.
Yeah, so that, I mean, that's
it was fun, man. Like, it was. Thanks, man. Like, I just kind of like went out there to have fun and land some tricks and kind of use the park as best I could. And because I haven't been in too many contests, but I've been skating a long time, and I was in a contest when I was like 12, and I placed. It was at like MB middle school. I think I won a Santa Cruz shirt.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Skatewagon hooked me up with some good stuff in addition, skate shop too. So shout out to them.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Well, listen, I appreciate you jumping on today and like going through the, you know, talking about like diversity and just like aging in skateboarding, you know, just giving me some of your background with skateboarding. One of the things I always find interesting is like history. And I'm a history buff, like whether it's skateboarding, World War II, whatever. And that just really interests me. And like, you're kind of a part of that history in some way, you know, without even having
kind of like a dinosaur.
What?
Kind of like a dinosaur.
Yeah. I mean, but dude, I mean, you were here in Delaware when there really wasn't much of anything, right? Because the two skate parks that were here in Delaware, they were gone by 1980. Like, actually, they were gone way before 1980.
Our skate park we had two skate parks in Wilmington. One was called Hercules and one was called Rodney Square. Those were our skate parks, and I lost a lot of skin and blood at Hercules, man. That was my home away from home, man. I love that place, man. I still do.
That down ledge that's there. It's like a down ledge next to a 6 stair, and I've jacked myself up on that so many times, trying to like because I really want to 50 that ledge. Like, I am determined to 50 it. And like, even TJ was like, dude, just 5-0 it. You'll probably be able to 5-0 it before you'll 50-50 it. And I was like, no, I want a 50 on this ledge. Like, I am determined to get to 50.
5-0 it. Or no, you 50-50'd it, right?
I've gotten to the bottom of it, but I have a problem popping off because of the way the ledge is shaped. As it gets down, there's actually a dip. So like, I'm thinking about trying to 180 out of it, but I have to actually get down the ledge first, and it takes me quite a while to get warmed up to it. And it's like one of those all day events where that's where I have to start, so I'm fresh when I'm doing it. There's another big ledge down the street from there. It's like, I want to say it's like
a pretty gnarly ledge, because that's a gnarly ledge there to do a trick on. I can honestly say I never did a trick on that ledge there by that stick set or whatever it is, but back in the day though, I did ollie down those stairs, and that was a hefty ollie. And I remember the tree wasn't trimmed, and it was crazy because like, you gotta go pretty fast to get over that. That's pretty wide. So I remember going through the air. I felt like I was flying, and the tree limb was coming down. And I remember my arms went through the tree limbs on the way down, but I landed it. I don't have any photographic evidence of it though, but I'm sure somebody was there that day.
I mean, a lot of the best stuff I've ever done, I don't have any video evidence of anymore, like, because that was all handheld camera. You know, back in the early 2000s, we were still having the handheld cameras.
Hell yeah. Yep.
So, but yeah,
that like 35 millimeters.
So, but dude, I really do appreciate you jumping on and just sharing your story and like sharing like your setup and everything. Like, we're going to get together again soon and either go street skating or just shred Wilm or something. But listen, dude, I appreciate it, and I hope, you know, we're going to get together soon. Definitely.